So here we go with my first Christmas DIY. I can't wait to show you how I made this advent calendar. So first of all, I took some paper cups and cut up approximately about 3.5 centimeters from the bottom. But don't throw the rest away, just cut it off. And then I took some lollipop sticks. Now I want these just a little bit taller than the bucket. So I marked them at about 4 centimeters. So mark both sides, and then I got a craft knife and just cut into the wood, and then a pair of pliers help just break it off nice and neat. Then using PVA glue, I done section at a time and just glued the lollipop sticks on, going all the way around. And then I put some bobbles on just to keep everything in place whilst it dried. Whilst it was drying, I cut off the rim of the remaining part of the cup, as this will become the handle. Now it's dry, I'm just giving it a coat of paint. Once that was dry, I stapled on the handle. Next I glued some hessian around the base just to tidy up that edge. All that's left now is to put a number on. So I thought it'd be nice to use my little stamps and put the word 7 on the little separate sticks. I think that works really well. So I made 2 of these little buckets. With the other one I just used smaller sticks to go around and cut out some cardboard for the 18 and also for the handle. So next I found these canvases lying around that my son had drawn on previously. Please don't go and buy anything if you're going to make something similar to this, because there's always things you can find lying around that you can hold together, and then it creates a little space inside where you could put like a little gift or a sweet. So I decided to wrap these up as opposed to painting them. So I just used this printed card. If you want the same effect, you could use book pages or even a map. So I just used PVA glue to glue the canvas and then stick it down onto the paper. Just made sure there was enough paper so it would just wrap around just nicely around the edges. Now I found the quickest option here was just to use a staple gun, as it staples into the wood of the canvas frame. Next I cut a little strip of the same paper just to use as a bit of a hinge on the top, and then once this is dried it will just bend and kind of allow you to go inside of it and take out whatever's in there. I just use PVA for this again, seems to work well, anything to do with paper. And then I cut a little bit card because I thought this was starting to look a little bit like a case. Actually on the 6th of December my husband's going to be away, so I might even sneak this into his case. How cute! And then I stuck a 6 on that I cut out of a postage label. I'm really happy with that. So next I'm going to show you how I made some of the envelopes. Now this is just a strip of white paper out of a drawing book that I cut, and then I just folded it in half. Just ignore the 23 for now. And then I took one edge and just folded it up approximately about 1/3 of the way up to the seam. And then folded that up about 1/3 down from the top. So then it folds round like a little envelope. Now to create this angle section here, all I've done is just measured about 1 centimeter in from the edge corner, and then drew a line and then rounded it with my scissors. Now for the 23 I just drew this freehand. I just used a gold pen and drew the 2 squares, 2 different sizes, and then kind of just drew a 2 and a 3 within the square and then coloured in the remaining. I used the gold pen because I felt like it dries quite natural, so it fits in with the theme. I also done this number 4, I've actually glued along the sides already with this one. Next, I have reused these off last year's advent calendar. There was just a piece of string and these all hung on the string. It looked good, but I feel like this year's advent calendar for my husband's going to be much more exciting. I'm just going to reuse these, so I'm just pulling off the old stickers. I left it a bit rough, so I'm just going to fold over that edge. And then stamp on a number. And then I thought I would do some dots on this, so I just found something round, just use this glitter tube. You could use the end of a pen or anything you have lying around. I think this is much better than an actual round stamp because I didn't want it perfect, I wanted it a little bit rustic. I think they look a little bit like globes actually. Now, to keep the envelope closed, because it's got quite a big overlap, this one, so it needed something to hold it down. So I just glued the bottom half of the button, and then that just sits in there. Here's a few of the others that I've done. I've tried to make every one of them different and unique. This one's just got a little peg on, just wrap some twine around here, just wrote on this one, and on this one I just actually dipped some twine into glue and just twisted it on. Postage envelopes often have nice big numbers you can cut out. In fact, I'm going to use this envelope that I got this morning to cut out a tag shape. So I'm just going to cut out an oblong shape. Measure a centre point. Draw up to it, down to the corners, and then you've got a little tag. And then you can just stick your numbers on, just play around with it really until you're happy with it. For this number 9 Hessian tag, I just glued some Hessian onto some cord, and then once it was dry I cut off the cardboard, cut out a number 9, made this one quite big. So I just sponged over the 9 with some paint to create this effect. So yeah, and here's some little matchboxes that I wrapped up just in brown paper and just wrapped them with a bit of twine. Use basically anything natural, anything that fits in with whatever theme you're doing, and just experiment. So next I made a little Hessian back. So I just got a strip of Hessian, folded it over, and then just snipped it off, lined it up, and then I just tied a little knot in one corner. Can I just say, I'm hopeless with the sewing machine, I'm hopeless at sewing. This is very, very easy. I've not done this before, this is the first time I've done it. So then I've just done some big stitches. I mean, what did help probably with this particular Hessian is it was on a roll, so the edges are already finished on this one. If you have got raw, rough Hessian and there's all bits coming off the edge, you could maybe just glue the edges to get like a nice sealed edge. So I sewed up one side, not all the way up, I've stopped about 1 inch from the top, and then done the other side. And then next, roughly where it's going to be scrunching in the bag, I've just done some big stitches, and then they'll pull to make a little bag. But what I had to do is do stitches going across the other way so that I would have something to tie together when I pulled the two pieces. Yay, cute! I might put some chocolate coins in that. It's like a little loot bag. So I'm going to put a number 3 on here. So I've just drawn a number 3, cut it out with my craft knife, and then I'm going to use what's left. I'm just going to dab some, this is just a tester pot, just a light colour. Just dab that on, and then hopefully this will be strong enough to be able to see the 3. Yes, that's great, that's just what I wanted. So that's my number 3 done. Next I found this little jar, well it's plastic, I'm not even sure what it's off. And then I thought I would make this just a small number. So I've just wrote a number 2 on here with gold pen. Later on, I haven't actually showed it on the video, but later on I cut out a cardboard too and replaced this section because it just didn't look quite right, the colour. So I've just wrapped up some sweets and tied a bit of twine on the top and popped them in a little container. I felt like the lid was a bit too white also, so here's a little snippet of the actual finished one with hessian tied around the top. And for my final number, I got a piece of cork just off the corkboard that the kids were finished with, drew a number 5, I've done this nice and large for impact, and then just cut it out, and that's my final number. And now for the fiddly bit, I carefully tied each piece with either string or twine around a lovely branch, hung it on the wall, and yeah, I'm really pleased with the way it's turned out. I cannot wait to think to what I could put in these little boxes and packages. And some of the more flatter items like the 5, I was just going to really just attach a little note behind or a little picture. So yeah, I can't wait to show Andy this. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you've really enjoyed it and been inspired. Please subscribe so you don't miss my next Christmas project.